Okay, good afternoon, class. I would want to thank you very much for logging in. We wanted to use this session for our hands-on bit to catch up with our tutorials to see how far have we gone with our tutorials, because we want to see that by end of the whole class, by end of this whole 10 weeks, we should have been able to cover all our tutorials that we want to have for digital forensic investigation. We will cover all that we need to. At least these are just the basics. So we began by looking at digital forensics, just a quick, the definition. We went then ahead to look at the process. Then we went on to look at how do we maintain integrity. And we said we have a tool that we use for maintaining integrity, and that was the RegShot. We covered it maybe by a show of hands. Could I see of the 13 students that have logged on, how many of us have tried to install RegShot and carried out an integrity check? I beg your pardon. I'm not getting any feedback. How many of us were able to download and make a RegShot check? Teddy, Ekomu, Emmanuel, Joanne, Lillian, Stephen. Yes, can someone tell us? Lydia says she tried. Yes, you can type in the chat room as well. Gavi says no, not yet. Stephen says, what is Stephen saying? What about Davis? Louisa? Lydia? Okay, Lydia said she had tried, she had mentioned it. What about Joshua? Kenneth? Caroline? Patricia? Joshua, not yet. Rebecca? Ronald? Not yet. Ew. That is not good, because unless you people want to just graduate and you finish, and when you can't exactly do anything, they ask you, you did forensics, not so? Okay, do for us any components, any forensic investigation, and you're looking at us and say, it was only theory, we can't do anything. That will not be proper. It will be a very big disservice to our students. Okay, let's still go through RegShot. We'll go through RegShot, and then we want to see also, I'll show you a small clip on the chain of custody, which we already know. The core there is seeing the forms. When there is a particular case, what forms do we use to fill in? The next one is about the right blockers. I will be able to show you the hardware and the software that is of the right blockers, because immediately after that, we want to do an installation of FTK, the Forensic Toolkit Imager. This one helps us in the acquisition process. After we've identified what we need, we then go to it. So today's class, we want to cover all the way from maintaining integrity. We look at quickly what are some of the chains of custody in terms of the forms that we use to fill in the investigation that we are carrying out. Also see a right blocker, and then look at how do we use our FTK imager. And using a flash disk, how can we make an image of our flash disk? So that the next week we will look at another 3 or 4 items. How do we then search for deleted file after acquisition? How do we use OS forensics for Windows artifacts? How do we do RAM dumping, and RAM dumping analysis? Because we can't do this. I wanted to jump to how to check for another integrity. But using these hash values, this is used in OS forensics. So for now, let's still go back to our very immediate basics, because I noticed that we have missed out on that.
So for that purpose, we have to download software registry analysis.
Let me just take you through.
For this tutorial, we are going to learn about
Okay, so we use RegShot when we are carrying out our registry analysis.
So for that purpose, we have to download the software called RegShot to learn about the registry analysis. So for that purpose, we have to download the software called RegShot to maintain the integrity of the system. Let's open the browser and search for RegShot.
So what are we looking at today? We want to look at how do we check and maintain integrity. In checking and maintaining for integrity, we call that process as registry analysis. We are analyzing our register to see what activities have occurred, what activities we're trying to check that nothing has been modified, nothing has been added to. That is what integrity is. And so what we're saying here in the tutorial is that we are going to use a software called RegShot, RegShot. So the first process is for us to go to open up Google. We go to Google and we type there RegShot, just like what this tutorial is actually showing us. So let me quickly open up Google. So within our platform for Google, we type in RegShot because this is what we want to use for testing and checking for integrity, doing a registry analysis. Yes, we choose the first option. Can you see what I'm seeing here? Let me increase on my size of the font. Can you see what I'm seeing here? Let me quickly annotate through. So what I did, went to Google and we quickly just typed in, RegShot. So when you type in RegShot, it's able to bring you several items. Mine, I picked the one that shows download for Windows. The first one is the one we are picking here, or I don't know on your side what it tells you. RegShot download is the one we're doing, stroke source code, sourceforge.net. So we click this one. We are going to click this, this option because we need to download it. It's a very small application. So what happens when you're invited to go for a criminal investigation schedule at a particular place? What do you quickly do? You immediately go with this software on your flash disk, install it on that person's computer. You install it and take your first shot. You keep that first shot. Then later, after some time, you come back and you then go and do a second shot. All we are doing, we are comparing to see, have they tried to delete, edit some information? That is what the reg shot analysis does for us, checking the registry of activities. So just looking at this week alone, we look at the downloads. Please, have we left someone behind? In case I've left you behind, please type in N. If we are currently moving on forward swiftly, type yes. Why? For it's okay. If you do not know where we are, type N so that we see how many are following. Okay, so what are we trying to do? We're just doing a registry analysis. This registry analysis is to help us to test, and we're using RegShot. RegShot is the software that we are using. So our first step, we said we need to download the software, and this is what we are doing. We click download. Of course, I've installed it several times on my computer. So I'm just taking you through the process so that you look at what I can currently see. Okay, it's telling me that your download will start shortly. Yes, here we go. It has downloaded and we have a version 1.9.0. Okay. So when you download it, go and unzip it or put it on your desktop. Somewhere you can unzip it and open it. I've opened mine. Don't know if you see what I'm seeing. The one I'm going to click is RegShot x64 ANSI.exe. Let me just highlight what we are going to use here. This is the one we are going to use. The RegShot ex ANSI.exe. Okay, so for RegShot, I don't know how many of us are following through, because our most important thing is that we need to install it. So if you've gone to that step, let me first stop sharing to get to my desktop. But meanwhile, I could also
and you will land up on the RedShot website. So this is the RedShot website, and here is the software. Let's download it. Download will start shortly. Okay, let's save the file. Save. Okay, and I guess it is done. Open. Let me cut and paste it on the desktop.
yes, so as we had said, after installing it, after downloading it, you put that zip folder on the desktop. For you to quickly see it, you need to extract it. So you need to use any kind of tools to extract it, WinRAR, WinZip, or even Windows. So when you extract it in that folder, we only are focused on opening it, and we look out for our ANSI .exe. So depending on what version of computer you have, the recent ones, we choose that very first option. Okay, so let me come and we open it at that level. Okay, so we have, let me quickly open for us my RegShot. This is the folder that I have. And this is the first one I'm going to click under the RegShot analysis ANSI .exe. So we run it, it will ask me, do you want to allow this application from an unknown publisher to make changes to your device? I say it's okay, yes. So this is where we are. I don't know if you can see what I'm seeing. Let me first stop sharing. I go back and share so that I share that exact, yes, I can see this is the exact little form that we are seeing. We should be able to see compare logs and save as. Okay, so you choose in what output do you want? Do you want it as a plain text or as an HTML document? I can choose plain text so that it appears as in a notepad form. a .txt. If I want it in HTML form, I choose that one. So if it's in a TXT form, the next part here is to ask us exactly about the scans. For now, I want to see if, before I take my first shot, I want to find out where should it put my first shot. So I want to go and select those little 3 dots. Let me first cancel. Are we seeing these little 3 dots? I click here because I want to identify where I'm going to keep these shots. I can choose to create a folder. You click make a folder. Let me make a folder under RegShot Forensics, and I call it registry analysis using RegShot. Somewhere I can always pick on. Once I click it, I click OK because I want it to go and specifically put that shot in that particular place. Okay, so now that I know where I'm going to put my first shot, I can take the first shot. Remember, this shot and save, I'm just taking note of my keys. Do you see the keys moving down? Keys, values, and the time taken. That is the registry analysis it's taking of my current computer as it is now. So immediately they invite you, come to this particular place, carry out the forensic investigation. It's the very first thing we do. We take our RegShot analysis for a registry analysis because we are testing for integrity. It takes a bit of time. Okay, so as it's taking its time, it's going to save it, of course. I won't run quickly to create a second one. No, I want to first go and make some changes because in between, when after you've done a RegShot, you leave, you keep it, you walk away, you come back, tell them, I'm coming back maybe the next day or maybe next week. Monday, I will be there. You want to check and see if they're going to change anything. The next time you come, it's when you take a second shot. So assuming that our first shot has been taken, I now go to the desktop. Okay, my first registry shot has come. So I can call it, I give it a name. Let me share my screen so that you see what I'm seeing. Okay, we do not see it. But it's asking me to save that shot. So in saving the shot, I can call it RegShot 1. I call it today's date, 25th.02.2022. So that I know it's the first shot I've taken and it's saving it. So I want to go to my registry and I see, can I delete some few things to see if it can pick it up? I go and I pick out on anything, anywhere. I can go to the desktop, pick something from somewhere. But you know, you can always pick out. Delete it. Okay, I've deleted some files. Okay. Here, me too, I don't see anything. So I have taken my first RegShot. It saved it. It saved it somewhere. So now I have deleted some files. I now want to take my second shot. However, I need to see where do I want to keep it. If I want to keep it in the same place, I need to make sure I point it to that same place. In this case, yes, it's still in the reg shot file. So it's okay. I now take my second shot, shoot and save. So it is running. So I'm waiting for it to give us our output. Okay, my second reg shot is now ready. So we have carried out both the first shot and the second shot is currently being carried out. The next thing I will do is to click that word compare. I'll click that item compare and it will compare both two shots. Okay, for each shot has finished, I now see compare being available. I click compare. I expect it to run and give a comparison. And my own is to see in between, can it choose, can it see the items I've deleted? Because it's checking the registry. Anything that I do after I have worked on the first shot, it's able to pick it up as a modification. Okay, I want to hear and get some feedback from you. Doctor, I didn't find a reg shot for Mark. We need to go and you need to go on online, go to Google and search registry analysis tools for marks. Yes, please unmute, feel free and ask.
Yeah, for me on compare, it has said error has occurred.
Had you carried out both the first and second reg shots?
Yes, please.
Okay, first quit or first clear. Then you go back and try to create another reg shot. Then, but in between, did you make any difference between after taking the first reg shot? Did you edit or change some items after that?
No, I did.
So what is it supposed to compare? So first go back and follow instructions. Do the carry the first shot, go and edit or change some few items. Shot is taking long, but it will finally finish. So me, I'm very keen on allowing it to go on. Let me stop sharing. I take us back to our video. Let's see how far had it gone.
Site Nearsoft. It allows the investigating officer to quickly take a snapshot of the registry and then compare it with a second one. The tool is used when you are doing any live investigation of the computer seized from the crime scene, or to make any changes or have to install any software. That time we are going to.
So what we are seeing here is just that same clip where he's trying to run it. Here he wants to mainly make a plain text, make the first reg short as he has done. He's saving it as short one, somewhere he can find it.
Okay, here is the output file of the short one.
So the output first one is there on the desktop. So he has to make some changes. That's why I was saying in between, he can choose to, like for in his side, he hid some files, he deleted some files, at least carry out some activity so that when you do a comparison, you get something that is substantive.
Let me delete something. Let's open this folder. Let's see the property.
So he has opened a folder and he has deleted the items within there. There are a number of PowerPoint slides that he has deleted.
This entire folder.
So he has deleted the whole folder.
Second shot, we have before that, some directory here.
He is going to the directory and also changing.
Option.
He is hiding. He wants to hide some more items.
Hide the extension for non-file types. Okay.
So he's trying to hide some files as well.
Now we are ready to go.
So that's why we're saying in between the first shot and second shot, carry out some activity, deleting, editing, hiding.
So there is no need.
So he clicks short and save for the second one.
Just copy the red shot into the pen drive and connect the drive to the suspected or seized computer, and double click it, and it will run easily. But the older version of Windows often have some troubles running modern softwares like Redshot.
Okay, can we hear from those who are having some issues?
You're running something like Windows XP. Let's see.
If you're finished, I would want you to share your screen with us.
Two.
So he has finished his second reg shot. And so he saved it as shot 2. So those are the 2 items he's comparing.
Let's compare it.
So he just clicks compare once he has these 2.
Compare.
His will take a shorter time.
It will take a little time. So you have to maintain the integrity of the system.
This is what we do when we are testing and checking the integrity of the system, just to ensure that we have not changed anything.
You have to show to the court that what
If something has been changed, then we make sure that we run it and we get a screenshot and we get it to the courts of law. This is the output of what he has. He can see his deleted 6 files are there. It contains different values, different keys, and that's it. So this is the output, and this output confirms that there is something that has actually been edited, been deleted, been removed. So that is all about our reg short analysis. So he's trying to go to the ones he had changed extensions to find out.
Microsoft, yes, Microsoft. And in that Windows. Okay. And current version. So here we have the hide file, so the value is 1. Let me again change it to 0. Okay.
Because he had hidden some folders and he's trying to see if he can now get them back. That's why he's changing them back to the original items. But at least that .txt file is what he will present to the courts of law that show that yes, the integrity check has actually run and the output is ready. Okay, I don't know. Who can share with us their screen to show us how far they have gone with the registry analysis? Let me look at my own output and I see if it's ready. Mine is still running. It takes time. But it will run and finally give me some output. Yes, I want to hear from you or someone to type. Brenda, Matia, I was inquiring, Kamjisha, have you been able to run your red shot? Mine is still running because I know my computer is still loaded. But by the time we end our next,
Mine has not yet responded yet.
who is that?
Kamjisha.
Okay. What have you, where are you? Have you done the first or second shot? Or are you at the compare? Mine, I know it's taking long because it has to scan through. I have a 1 terabyte, but it's 476 gigabytes that are full. So by the time it goes through that whole space to check, you will find that, yes, it takes a bit of time. Okay, so I'm very keen on moving on. Let me see what we have here. Yes, I'm very keen on moving on to the next one. The next tutorial they were showing. Let me see if I've picked the actual. Let me share. The next one we want to look at, we've seen, is we want to look at maintaining our chain of custody.
In class, we are going to discuss about the chain of custody.
We covered this in chapter 1, and we shall still see it now in chapter 4. In order for you to follow through in the rightful order, we need to make sure that we maintain our chain of custody. A chain of custody is a process that is used to maintain. The chain of custody is a process used to maintain a document in the chronological history of handling of electronic evidence. A chain of custody ensures that the data presented is as originally acquired and it has not been altered prior to admission into evidence. So within a digital forensics, we're able to see that we have some forms that we use for chain of custody. I'm trying to fast track here the chain of custody. Okay, the chain of custody shows us a number of 4 items. 1, it shows us who collected the evidence, what comprises of the evidence, what evidence was collected. Number 4, it establishes continuity of who, what, where of the evidence. It basically takes it to the next level. These are just forms that you fill in. And I remember in those notes, we said there are 2 types of forms that we use. We can use a single entry form, a single evidence form, so that at the point where we are sending it to the user, or at the user's point, look at it. This one is for multiple because it allows us to pick up multiple items. The items, the dates, when they were released, received by who, and you write a comment about the location. So chain of custody is all about, it's a tracking form to track what did you pick from the user's side, and you enter in as much detail. It is the serial numbers that you enter. If it's a computer, if it's a hard drive, You give us the model, you give us the make, and you tell us exactly what it is that you're looking at. Then that is for the multiple items where you can enter more than one item at a go. There is also one that can just allow us to enter one item by item. So all they're just doing the explaining. The final disposal authority, you need to enter because it's an authorizing form. It tells you to whom do you take it to? Who is the next person that we expect you to get this information to? So the only difference between the single and the multiple is that for the single, you can only enter one item by item, which is really a waste of time. But for the multiple, you're able to enter several of them at the same time, because you get to a premise, you pick up so many things. You pick up phones, we saw them yesterday. Anything that is digital that we suspect that is able to help us to save any amounts of documents. Whether it is anything, are there cameras, are there biometric sensors, are there anywhere we suspect that we are going to actually carry out any kind of list of formats. So it is mandatory and it's required by the courts of law. By the time we go to present that we have followed, they ask for these forms, ask for the integrity check using RegShot. And of course, by the way, again, we are not limited to only RegShot. For our colleague or the student that is using Mac, you may need to look for another registry analysis tool, using what? Another tool. There are several others. So that is all about, we had about our chain of custody. Basically filling in that form and ensuring that it is properly filled in. You sign in after entering your details, send it to the boss, all the way until it follows the rightful procedure. And these forms are picked from police. Police has them, the people in charge of forensics have them, investigation companies already have them to keep track. So next we want to look at right blockers. We looked at right blockers. What is a right blocker? This is a tool that is designed to prevent any write access to the hard disk, thus permitting read-only access to that data storage device without compromising the integrity of the data. So a write blocker is always used correctly to guarantee the protection of the chain of custody, just to ensure that whatever you are following, you've carried out the integrity check, you're saying, yes, no one is going to add onto that item. Write blockers are in two types. We have the hardware as well as the software. So within the hardware, we are going to see, of course, yesterday I showed you one, but when it was not in action, it was really not showing us anything. So this is an illustration of the hardware write blocker onto my left. The black little thing here with blue numbers. And look at the cables, the cables, the PATA and SATA cables that we have attached. Here we have, let me quickly annotate through and I show you. This is our write blocker, this black one. This is our write blocker that I'm calling WB. And this one is the hard drive disk. This HDD or SSD is what we are trying to freeze, such that it's only frozen to only being able to read from it. You can't write anything, you can't edit. It's part of the integrity check items. So they're saying you either use this kind of hardware or you use a software, or you can use both. Once you attach it and you onto your computer that has forensic software, for digital forensics, the write blocker software, then you will tell it to start and it will block through this hard drive, of course, of what you are going to work on, just for purposes of an integrity check. So this is just an illustration to us on how a right blocker. Personally, I don't have a right blocker. I have colleagues who are into forensic sciences, and they're the ones that do have some of these equipment. Hardware, it's quite expensive, but it's very, very important. Yes, before I go to the next one, I'm very keen. Let me first quickly freeze it.
Click the access data link here.
Okay, so those were the key three things. Let me trek through and see how far we have gone. Do we have some questions? Emmanuel, I didn't want you to listen to bad English. It's an Indian who's talking. The volume is too low. So that's why I keep repeating what they're saying. Is that clear? Let me go and check whose right blocker is done. I want to honestly check through. Finally, mine is done. Wonderful. So let me share with you my right blocker. There we go. So this is my right blocker, sorry, not right blocker, my reg shot, my registry analysis comparison. I took the first round, I saved it. Went and made changes, deleted some things, the other, so on and so forth. Made a second reg shot, and now I compared. So it has seen that, yes, some keys have been added. Those are 10 keys that have been added. What has been deleted? I only deleted one file. That is the one value item that was deleted. Added onto it were 30. That is what it picks out. And these are the registry details of it. Modified 70 in total. I scroll through all these in hexadecimal language. If you're looking for particular files, you need to know where they are located so that you see, because they are giving us the links as to where they were located. In total, it has picked out on 111 changes in the reg shot. So I save it. I save this comparison because this is part of the evidence. I'm going to take where? I'm going to take to police. So I call it, this is, I've called it reg shot, something, something. I add there today's date, 25th of 02 of 2022. So in the items I will package and send, and say for the integrity check, I used reg shot for Windows, and this is my final output. Evidence that something was changed after we had carried out the first shot. That shows that really there is evidence that something happened. Okay. Some questions, please, because I now want to go to the fourth item. That is on how do we download our FTK, that is the forensic toolkit. We want to see how do we download our forensic toolkit, install it, and we want to take an image because we've done a lot of talking, really. We've talked a lot. I don't know if you can see my screen. We've talked a lot. We've seen. We now need to see. That's why we're saying we need to go into action for at least some of the items. And this is all about data acquisition in copying and making an image. Please kindly ask. If you have a question, feel free and also type. Okay. So we want to go to FTK Imager. Our target is that by 4 we should be able to leave you. Our FTK Imager helps us in making an image. And by the way, there are so many. There is autopsy. There are so many of them. We can't finish all of them, but there are so many forensic toolkit imagers. So the first thing that we do, we go to Google as usual, and we will type in FTK Imager as is being shown here.
Yeah, this one.
The very first one, whatever version you find there, because They always keep updating different versions. So this is a version he found there of 2019. You will notice that they need an email address. And sometimes you don't want to be in a hurry to put your email. So what he's doing now, he's just creating a temporary email. By creating a temporary email, you go to Google and you type in temporary email as he's doing. So temp mail. Look, the first one, it will give you some strange temporary fake email. Because I don't want to fill in my actual details. Why? I put in my actual details, they will keep sending me all kinds of rubbish. So in your names, you can put in anything. YXYZ, OPQ, but on email, it wants a real email. Even phone number, why should you put your actual phone number?
I'm from India.
So he's from India, he's selecting his country as India. Organization still, you don't need to reveal a lot. Your job function, it's okay. You can type in anything, whether you're a student, an investigator, a lecturer. Okay. Then you submit. Okay. So we'll want to first at least see that we go to that level so that we download our FTK imager. Okay, so I want to first hold it there. I go back to Google. This time on Google, I'm going to type in FTK imager. There it is. So this FTK imager, there are several of them. I just want to go down and pick the one. Okay, I see there is one here. We have a newer version than his because every time they keep updating. There is one under product download access data. It's still the same. Even this one is still under access data. So this is the item that we want to pick. And it's the forensic, the FTK imager that we want. Okay, so it's telling me this is the FTK imager version. Look at the version that is available. Let me annotate through with it so that we are able to see it. This is what I see. So next I'm going to click download. Okay, so the FTK imager, it's a forensic toolkit imager. And of course we know what it is for. Its aim is to carry out our second step in the forensic analysis by carrying out our acquisition. We want to make an image. And I want to make an image over flash drive and pick, you know, in creating an image, it also unearths, it picks all deleted documents ever on it. Okay, so let me go ahead and download. Please kindly download an FTK imager on your machines. The one with Mac, you may need to do a little more research on the FTK imagers as well for Mac. So it's ready to download now. I'm waiting for it to give me some details. Okay, I see. Okay, you know, I had already created an email address. So I created a temporary email address and he showed us how to create it. Let me just open. So he just typed in here, temp email, temp mail. Temp email here will generate for you a temporary email because you don't want to use your email. People will keep sending you all kinds of rubbish. So if this is the one I can generate, so I will click it, I copy it basically, and I go back to where I'm installing my FTK imager, and I will paste it there. I submit. Okay, my FTK download is ready for me to use. It's already downloading it. Needs about 10, 11 minutes. So meanwhile, let me still go back and listen to the clip so that we hear how far he has gone with his download. But please feel free and ask, feel free and download. Feel free and type in where we are leaving you out.
So we have received a mail.
Questions will be set, by the way, on all of these tutorials
Save file.
about registry analysis, its importance, right blockers, their importance, and what forms do they work, and how can we carry out right blocking? How do we carry out registry analysis? We can be able to ask you some few basic questions. Why we want you to be a hands-on person, at least someone who has access. You've been able to use some free software tools.
Storage device or operating system. We use this FTK image, the forensic toolkit.
So he's still downloading his as well.
Okay, how long? 4 minutes. Network is slow.
So it depends on your network, it depends on your machine, it depends on a number of issues.
We can read it here also. Okay. Almost
Please, in the chat room, could I follow up and see how many of us are downloading the forensic imager? So this is how it looks like. He has brought it to the desktop such that he's able to run it, and running it as an administrator. It should be able to open, and it just has 4 components. We will see.
extracting the data.
It's an open box. It will open.
Next. Let me accept the agreement.
We agree.
Next. Next. Install. It will take a bit of time to get installed. Just hold on.
Okay, let me quickly pick through and see. My temp email
Let me discuss,
has not been
about
accepted.
the image when we are actually working on.
Go back and ask for another temp email.
We'll get hands-on experience and information.
Babiri, kindly go back and create another one.
Let's launch the
Okay.
data FTK.
Just go back and so this is how the FTK looks like
And
once it is finally open. So we shall see within the evidence tree, that is like the file, the number of files that are there for your computer. Then anything that you pick, it will display its details on the right-hand side under name, size, date. Then at the bottom here, it will show us also the content source and more details about it. That is just an FTK imager. Then we shall see that.
I want to ask you this.
Yes, please ask.
There are different versions which they actually show, but I don't know exactly which FTK image we download.
We're using FTK access. FTK access. Let me just quickly see. Which ones do you see?
I can see FTK version 6.21 access data.
That is the one.
Okay.
It's access data that we're using. So
Okay.
let me go.
FTK, we're downloading another software.
We've only downloaded 2 today. One was RegShot, and the second one that are downloading is the FTK imager to help us carry out our acquisition. Okay, so let me, I hear mine disappear data downloading. No, it can't disappear, Sebo. Emmanuel, go and pick it under folder called downloads. When I go to my downloads, yes, that's where I see. Let me share with you my downloads. After it's downloaded, then it keep there waiting for you to find it. you have to find it in the downloads. Look at my downloads folder. So in my downloads folder, I have so many items. One of them I see RegShot, I downloaded. The next is Access Data Forensic Toolkit 4.7.1. So this is the one I now need to drag and take to my desktop. So I will just drag it all the way to my desktop. Okay. So I go ahead and I install it, because why do we drag it to the desktop, by the way? Just for us to look at it, to see it. There's nothing important about it anyway. And in right-clicking it, if you're installing it, you can install it as an administrator if your computer has those many rights. Let me show you what is happening on my side. So this is my FTK Access Data FTK imager that is downloading. So I'm installing it. I follow through next. Oh, let me first share it and see, because I see it is here refusing. How can you refuse? Okay, I accept the terms of reference. Oh, it feels offended that someone is seeing the, relax, the students must see something. So at least when they run through the program, they should at least be able to see what is happening. So to install it, I see where it's going to install it on programs. I click next and I install it. Install it. Okay, it has refused me to share while it's installing. Ah, it is finished. Telling it to launch the FTK imager. And there we go, we should be able to see it. Wonderful. So now let me share my FTK imager. If it's rejecting your email address, the temporary ones, please just go ahead and use yours. Go and use your email and feed in some of those details. So this is how our FTK imager looks like. And of course, I just want to go and keep exploring and seeing what it is. Okay. It has always a guide. It has a guide in case you want to know how do you use the FTK imager. Wow, the guide is here. I will upload this as well. Let me save it. Let me save it. FTK. No, Dicto Forensic Investigation. Okay, let me go and save it still under our notes so that still we will do what? I will upload it on the, I will upload this guide for FTK on Muwele. All is just showing how do you create an image, how do you do this, and how do you install it, showing all those different items. Okay. Of course, reading a guide, the best place to start from is our table of contents, so that it shows you a summary of what you'd want to do and what it's capable of doing. So FTK images, for us, you want it mainly for creating an image. Ronald, please kindly use your email address, your actual email address, if it's refusing the temporary email addresses. Let me still go ahead and share.
And in the next video, let's perform the bit by bit copy of USB drive. Okay. This is how the FTK looks.
So that is just how it looks like. And of course, we've seen
Okay. So let's open this. And so in this tutorial, we are going to do the practicals of data acquisition, copying.
So are we done with downloading this FTK? If you've completed it, let's type Y. If yeah, if not, then type N so that we know where we have reached kindly. Okay, Emma says yes. Emmanuel Mukwaya says no. Who else is following? Lydia, are you there? Because you need a laptop. You can't work on forensics using a phone. Eh? Mine has refused. Babiri, how can it refuse? Is it a temporary email? Just use your actual email.
What are we going to do in the evening?
Which evening again?
Because reached the like traffic lights and the road was mostly dry. I was so cold.
Louisa Chisache, what have you show me? What is your output? You're here talking, giving us some kabozi. Chisache.
Yes.
Yes, I'm inquiring. How far have you gone with the FTK imager? Kamjisha says no. Davis says no. Why?
Yes, please.
Why? Have you downloaded the FTK
Doctor.
imager, Wanji?
I'm using my phone to follow the channel.
Okay, sorry. We want someone with a laptop. Yes, go ahead, please. Tell us where you're lost. Let me stop sharing so that you share your screen and we try to see what you're seeing.
Okay.
Okay? Of course, if you're using a phone, there is very little you can't use a phone. You will need forensic tools for a phone because you need to use a laptop, you need to use a desktop because that is your working environment. You don't work on a phone. Yes, Davis, Emmanuel, okay, Teddy says she has been able to set it up. Let's have someone who has not been able to set it up so that we understand and see where we can pick you. All we have just done, we went to Google, just as we did for RegShot. We went to Google and typed in FTK imager. Let me still go back and I get to Google and we type in FTK imager. That is all we did. FTK imager shows up. It's for us to scroll and look for which imager we want. The one we want, I see there are several imagers. This one is Extero, no. I want the one with access data. So I see there is even a version 4.5. The newer, the better. The most that it can do to your emails, while we're choosing temporary emails, every time they come up with a new version, they will keep reminding you, please download, please download. That is why we chose to use a temporary mail. There is nothing else about the temporary mail. So when we go to our products here, we need to scroll down and we pick on the product we need. This is the same product that we have. Let me quickly annotate through just to ensure that we are on the same pace. We have downloaded, and what we want to download in the FTK Imager, this is the one. FTK Imager version 4.5 is what's available. So what happens with this software, people, every other time they're always upgrading. There are several versions. So the one that you find available is the one you go for. Its user guide is available here. Look at its MD5. This is its hash, the current hash value for this particular release. Then this is the download button we would want to click. So once you're done with that, you want to go ahead and you click our download now. So we download it. I don't want to download it 2 times. After it takes a bit of time, when you've taken, my God, Michael, you're going to suffer with this, your Mac version, but it will make you a better person. You need to go and look for FTK Imagers for Macs. One thing we saw with Macs and Linux, you don't need to use a write blocker, because for it automatically, when you're running the forensic investigation tools, automatically it knows that, yes, you don't need to, the write blockers are only for Windows. We need to go and look out for, let's try and look out for this FTK. As the others are downloading it, please enter in your details as much as possible. FTK Imager for Mac. Okay, I don't have, I'm using a Windows Dell, so you can choose, it's here, choose this very first version. Have you chosen it? So Mac, when you download it, it should allow you to, let me click it and I see, because it should be exactly the same. Yes, exactly the same is what we see. That is it. You download it because you have a Mac, you click download, follow and install it. When it asks you for an email address, put in your actual details so that it doesn't have any issues with you. So it should be able to work. It's okay whether it's an old version. You type it in there, type it for whatever version that you have. Okay, we are very keen in proceeding on, because we want to carry out at least some acquisition. We want to carry out some acquisition because that's the main instance. In acquiring, we just want to make a copy. We want to make an image. We want to mirror something, but we want to do that for a flash drive. So you need to make sure you have a flash drive there. Let me quickly pick out on, yes, I can see my flash drive is ready and it's here. Okay, so all we were doing, we're just only installing FTK. Once it installs, you are able to find it, whether we drag it to the desktop or not, it should be able to open and give us, you should be able to view something like this. It may look different for Mac. That's my thinking for those who are using Macs. Of course, in creating, what I need to do is to click File and you tell it to do what? To mount a particular image. Not mount, but create disk image. So I need to put in my flash drive. So if I'm clicking, if I'm selecting a disk image, I create a disk image. These are the options that I see. Physical drive, logical drive, image drive, content over folder, Pheronic device. I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing. If it's a DVD or CD. So physical drive is always for a flash disk. Logic drive is for a hard drive. An image file as well. So let me go back and I pick up from where our next clip was beginning. Because all it's doing, let me first cancel mine. I stop sharing. All it's doing is that it wants to start carrying out the forensic acquisition process. Okay.
Practicals of data acquisition, copying and imaging of a USB hard drive. For that purpose, I have connected my pen drive with this system.
So what they're saying that first of all, make sure that you install or put your pen drive or your flash disk, because we want to create an image of it. Oh, he has gone ahead and even deleted something from the flash drive. But I tell you, every time you make an image, it goes and picks out everything. You remember we're saying that there are allocated spaces, hidden spaces, and unallocated spaces. Aha, this FTK imager goes and vomits everything. File, create image.
Evidence type. Physical drive is used when the investigator want to take the imaging of USB or external hard drive.
The physical drive, as we had seen, is for when you want to make an image of a flash drive.
It is used, and logical drive, it is used when you are taking the image of C drive, D drive, or E.
If you want to make an image of a C drive, a D drive, whatever hard disk components a drive you want to make, you use our logic drive.
E drive of the system. Image file is used when you already have an image file of pen drive or hard drive and you want to take another copy of it.
An image file is when you want to make a second copy of a particular image you have already made. Remember we said in forensics, in digital forensic studies, in following that life cycle, do not make only one image. One image is not enough. Make more than one image. What if that one image gets deleted? What if it gets corrupted? So make several images, and these are just copies of what you are making. That is when you select the third option on an image drive. If you want to make, of course, for the next one is content of a folder. You can decide that it's only this folder I want to do forensic investigation. Then you will choose the fourth one.
Use the image file, and contents of a folder is used to take the folder images and CD or DVD. That is same thing.
So if you want a CD and DVD, you will follow CD and DVD. So use the first option, physical drive. It will automatically pick out on your drive of your flash drive. Make sure you pick up on the physical drive one USB drive. On that whatever size you have. Then you click finish. That is all. It takes a bit of time. Where do you want to save the image? Put it on a folder that you can easily pick. So you want to click add and see what type of a destination do you want to save it as. Let me first tell you, next chapter, we shall be able to look at the different types of images. That's where we start from. So this is where they're saying that, do you want to save it as a raw image.dd or as a smart or an E1 or FFF? In the next chapter, it's when we shall see what are raw drives, but let me still first explain them briefly to you here.
Use this DD, and E01 is the official format of NCase. Okay, E01.
E01 is when you're using NCase for forensic analysis or for data collection. But if you're using Access, you can use raw .dd. However, we shall see that there are challenges with raw DD. Raw DD, if you're making an image and the image of the flash drive, if the flash drive is 5 gigabytes, where you're making an image, you must have exactly 5 gigabytes. A raw image cannot allow you to compress it. So that's why we always choose either SMART or an AFF. An AFF is good because it allows us to compress it. It makes it smaller. You've seen how you have zipped files. That is what it will do for an AFF as well. Okay.
So now we are going to select the DD raw.
So we have chosen raw DD. So now we give it case numbers. What case number is it? Flash disk, something practice, an evidence number, maybe 0010 or 1. Unique description. Some of these fields are optional. But why? It is because you want to actually label that image. Give it as much detail as you can. Because even we shall reach a point, and you see, examiner. The examiner is even asking, use examiner, what are your names? You enter in your names. Then any notes you want to have. Maybe flash disk picked from, I don't know, a bank for forensic investigation, UBA, or maybe Stanbic or wherever. So you write in any notes that you want. You click next.
And now I have to select the image.
Now tell us, where do you want to save that image? You need to choose the destination. When we pick the destination, put it somewhere you can easily identify.
Let's make new folder.
Desktop, add a new folder, and maybe call it, depending, maybe any that you would want, as long as you can find it. HP Crime is what he has called his. So give it a file name. I encourage you to, in addition to file names, add the date there. It helps you. Sometimes you recall, I did that forensic investigation on the 25th, so that you can follow through on that day and search for it. So now at this point, we will look at what they call RAIDs. You know, you would want to save your image as one component, or you can save it into smaller bits, smaller components. It's like when you have water in a jerry can. You may want to use it to fill smaller containers. In this case, if you want the image to just be one fragment, delete that part, don't limit its size. This one will tell us how big should be the size of the image you want to create, and it will go splitting them into multiple images. That is if you have a weak computer, and if it is very slow, it's when you decide to break them up. Otherwise, you just delete it and just call it 0, so that it will just create one complete image. We now have a name, we know the destination, so then we tell it to start.
And recalculate progress statistics. It will create the hash value of the file and integrity is maintained. So please check this.
So in verifying, it will always create an integrity hash number, which will be checking for integrity as well. So it is now creating our image. It takes some time. Let me first freeze there. I go back to mine because I want to do it also. I've attached my flash drive. This is my FTK. I go to File. I click Create Disk. We've seen that the physical drive is for flash disks. Logical drive are for any other C drives, C, D, E, whatever, as long as it's a hard drive. Image, if I want to make a second copy of an existing image, if it's for a folder, I will select content of a folder. So I click Next. Okay, that is, please select the following available drives. Okay. Mine is here, mine is small, it's only 503 MBs, okay? I click Finish. Next is to ask me to add. I want to add the particular type of image. We saw that the different types of images. arrow.dd, smart, E01 or AFF. AFF if I want it compressed. If I don't want, I want to exactly create the 503 MBs, I leave it as raw. I click next. Now I need to create my case number. Maybe if it is bank X, forensic case. My evidence number, let me call it today's date, 25th of 02 of 2022. Unique description, I call it the type. I don't know, maybe it's an HP flash disk. Flash disk. The examiner, Dr. Nabella. Notes, I say investigation, forensic investigation. So all I'm just doing, I'm just trying to add some extra detail to that particular case. Image destination, I need to browse and pick where I want it to appear. Let me see if I have FTK. It's okay. I can create a folder and call it forensic. I call it a forensic image. Okay, so that is it. Okay, file name, USB, HP, and today's date. For quick identification, the image fragment size here, 1,500 is by default. We are saying, no, I don't want you to split it. Keep it as one. Finish. Then I tell it to start. That is it. It takes some bit of time. Has your FTK image begun? Mine is running. Oh, it's running quite fast. Because it's small. If you're making an image of a whole computer or your flash, oh my God, it can be too big if it's heavy. But my flash drive is very small. I see it running quickly. I can see our image will soon come. Okay, I see it is ending. The time taken, 34 seconds. There we go. It's ready, and look at the hash values. And you know why the hash values are there? The hash values are to check for integrity. So if I go to the flash drive and I delete anything now, it should be able to pick out on it. Okay. Let's look at the summary of the image. This is a summary of the image that it has picked up. Look at the details I typed in. The case number was Bank X Forensic. Evidence number, today's date, unique description, the investigator, notes. Okay, so these are the details that it has found and made an image. I click close. So my image should be somewhere. If I want to make another image, let me make another image. I still create a disk. I create now, I select image because I want to create another image. Enter the source path of the image that I've created. So I want to go and pick it on the desktop, a folder I called forensic. Let me see. Was it FTK or forensic? I need to go and pick where that image is. Wow, that's serious if I can't find it. Okay, so I want to still go and pick it. Maybe it is inside this folder. Really? It can't be in the notes. Let me first take some time and look for it. Do we have someone that would want to share with us what they have seen, what they have done? Where are they stuck? I've enabled the share screen. Please, someone can share with us. Who wants to share with us how far they have gone?
So I have to wait now. Give few more seconds. Now it is verifying the pen drive and the image. It will also take little time depending upon the size of the
Okay.
image.
Let me just share with us this little small video clip in the next few minutes, and then we wind up for the day.
The hash value and the integrity.
So let me share with you what we are seeing here. So this is what the tutorial.
Okay, so after waiting for minutes, the bit by bit copy of the pen drive is
Ronald, I see you're sharing your screen. Okay.
the information. So this is the hash value of the pen drive, MD5.
Ronald, do you want to share with us what you are currently doing? Okay. Or Teddy is sharing with us. Okay. Teddy, are you creating a of your flash disk? Hello, Teddy?
Yes, madam.
Of your flash disk. Okay. Yes. Teddy Wanji, share your
Yeah.
share your slide.
Madam, I'm not able to share my screen because I'm using Zoom on the phone, but I'm working on my laptop.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. Also, mine is still creating.
It's still creating. Okay, so let me just share with you still from what the video clip had.
Doctor, even Saul has told us to share something.
Who wants to share with us? So this gentleman's on the tutorial master's finished. He has also picked up the hashes, the MD5, the SHA1, and the bad block systems.
So this is the hash value of the pen drive, the MD5 hash and the SHA1 hash. Computed and report hash, both the hashes are here. So this is the image summary.
So he's viewing the image summary as we had seen.
Imaging, like the case information.
Looking at the case information he had entered, the creator, the details, the name.
Remaining information is related to the pen drive, the type of the pen drive, model, source, date, size, sector count, and the same hash value SHA1 and MD5 will be available here. So these are the MD5 and SHA1 hash value. So this is image verification result, which is verified. Okay. So here is the folder which contains the image file of the USB pen drive. Let's open this.
So we need to go and pick where that image is and see how it looks like.
File of the image.
So that is the image file that has been made, and that is the report for the FTK.
Okay, this is how
So
we can-
these are part of the documents we shall submit
Thank you.
to police. And there they stop. So I think we'd want to stop here for today. So I think we'd want to reserve, let's reserve every Friday. Friday 2 to 4 for us to go through our tutorial. So now we've gone through at least up to the acquisition phase. The next week again, Friday, we should be able to do about 4 or 5 images. Okay. Yes, someone is sharing with us, Ronald. Ronald, do you want to unmute? Because this is what you're viewing the image itself.
Yeah, it is taking a bit slow. Okay, to create image.
Yes, that means your flash drive. How big is your flash drive? You may have a 1 terabyte. Mine was only 500 MB. It's very small. It can't carry some big files.
Mine is 32 GB.
Ah, that one is very big. So just be a little patient. Is that clear, Ronald?
Okay.
So just make sure you know where you saved it. We shall continue from there next week. Is that clear?
Okay, sir.
Okay, class,
Okay,
thank you very much. May God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend. So we shall meet next week, Wednesday, for the day class, Thursday for the afternoon class, for the evening class. Oh, evening the other way around. Then we'll have our Friday 2 to 4 for our practicals so that we can go through again FTK, the imaging, and now we want to go on to even see how can we use it to pick more deleted files. From FTK, we now want to go to the OS Forensics. It's another application that we are also going to download as well. Okay, let me quickly go online and I put for us our guide of FTK and also be able to put for us that, that slide that shows us the different forensic tutorials we are going to cover. So have yourselves a good day and may God bless you all.